How do you balance your business growth with staying passionate? This is Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today, we're brought to you by Time to Pet and Pet Perennials. We're really excited to have Wayne Hartley Jr. of Happy Hearts Pet Care and PETLANTA. He shares the realities of entrepreneurship, including the hustle, the overwhelm, and the habits that help keep us grounded. I'm really excited to have Wayne back on the show. Let's get started. Always love watching your videos and stuff that you put out there too. It's always
thank you.
Good to see you're really cranking those out.
That is another job in itself. I'd say because you're trying to figure out how do I get what I'm trying to say across in a way that's going to be accepted, right? And people understand what I'm trying to say, but still meet them halfway in how they understand things and how they understand, how to get the message, right? So it's still fun. At the end of the day, I tell people, try not to make it another job, because when you try to make it another job, when you try to make social media like this thing, it's just like, all right, I'm looking at it more on a whims of, I'm waiting for it to be perfect. I'm waiting for it to, really align with what the trends are going, the trends are going on these days and things like that. So it stops me from really getting my business out there. And me, I'm just like, look, just post it. We try to come up with something entertaining, but, it still reels people in because we're like, just post it, because that's how people get to see our business, what we built, rather than waiting, oh, I didn't say this correctly, or, oh, this caption isn't perfect, or the hashtags aren't perfect, or anything like that. Or you have to wait till like a specific time to post. I'm just post, the people are going to see it. Just post, but I'm just like, that's the only way that we really get our message out and grow our clientele.
Yeah. Well, I have to remind myself too of, there are businesses who have somebody who does nothing but this one thing of social media and content. And it can become an all-consuming job. And if I allow myself to go that, well, then I've just taken on the social media coordinator role and I've left the running of my business role over here. Right. And I can't do that, right? Like that has to be my primary focus.
Yeah, no, 100%. You can't do both. You can dedicate some time to it, but like you said, I have the business to run. I have to make sure that the business operations and everything that I put forth in the standard there doesn't go down because I'm trying to focus on this one thing. So at that point, now we're delegating work and we're bringing on more people that whose social media is literally that's their thing.
Yeah.
So I have my trainer, she doubles as my social media manager. And clearly she's doing really, really well, right? We're just making sure that we stick to a good schedule. We're getting content out, but that, you have to be intentional about what type of content you put out too. So like I tell, the pet professionals, I'm like, look, we went through branding all of July. July's theme was branding. And with that, we were trying to just really communicate that the brand that you're building is more than the aesthetics of it and how pretty things look and things like that, right? It's what people feel when they associate with your brand, when they look at your logo or your slogan or your motto and things like that. Is like, how do you portray that? So a lot of that, what we're intentionally putting out is, okay, we can teach you about proper pet health care, but we're still going to have fun at the same time. And then end with some type of call to action to where it's like, hey, book your next appointment, or hey, join our community, or hey, do this, buy our book, or something like that, to where it gets people to want more information rather than just putting out a post. It's like, no, we want you to book your next appointment. We want you to support what we have going on and things like that. So you just got to understand how the psychology of selling works too. Because we're all literally salespeople. We're selling our business to try to get people to spend money with us.
Yeah, well, and that's something I know I have struggled with because being a salesperson, I always have equated to like the sleazy used car salesman or the door to door or whatever. And so I feel like when in my bones, as we're crafting a social media post, I feel the ick coming on. I'm like, no, I want no.
Oh, I get it. I get it 100%.
And so that's been hard too. And I know we've struggled with like the brand voice. That's something that we've really had to work on too, of like, how does our business sound? And especially as we've learned that like our business sounds different than both Megan and myself. Like we are trying to reach people that are not necessarily who I am. And so there's this line between, well, I still need to be authentic, but also if there's some way to attract people and that the brand can be positioned, well, then I do need to follow where the market is leading. And so that's a balance that we've had to strike definitely as we've thought about what does it mean for our business to connect with our clients.
I think it does fall along with the boundaries that we set for our business too. You know, like, yeah, we can share certain things and connect with people on their level and, you know, meet them halfway and things like that. But we also have to make sure that, one, the intentionality of what we post comes out, but then also like boundaries, because I don't want to overdo it and overwhelm myself and everything like that. But as far as the voice, is just staying true to, you know, what the mission and the vision is at the end of the day. You know, like, what are our slogans? What are we constantly trying to preach? Like mine, you know, we're really on combing and brushing right now, right? Because a lot of people need somebody to tell you to comb and brush often. So we're always telling you comb and brush your dogs, right? So with that, it's like, okay, now that I'm telling you to comb and brush, it's my job to teach you like what brushes to use, how to use it, how to comb, how to, you know, brush properly, how to detangle, what products to use, things like that. So that's part of the voice that's coming along with, you know, now you get top quality service and we have minimal choices to where it makes sense to what you're getting and what packages you have available and things like that. Because we also want to provide that convenience of what we're selling, but then also you get the educational factor too, because we're building up a relationship with you. So now the voice is they really care about pet care and, you know, making sure that the coat health and skin health is proper. And we're part of your team as opposed to just your service provider, you know? So it's stepping out of keeping it 100. Well, I mean, still all 100% professional, but in a way you have more, you're more personable. You know, it's not like, oh, you're a number where you go into like corporate and you get your service and that's it. Like, no, we're building a relationship with you because we take the time to really teach you and educate you and provide you resources and things like that. So I think a lot of it really does have to, you know, figure out now, all right, what is my voice? You know, what are we saying? What are we portraying? And then just really just like harp on that and just really go into detail and dive deep.
Do you ever worry, like when you're posting that educational content about how to do the groom and how to do the brush and what brushes to use, do you ever worry that you're kind of working yourself out of a job and that your clients will go, oh, I don't need that. I don't need their services because I can do this on my own?
No, they still need me.
Yeah.
No, they still need. No, I would say I think about it in a sense of I hope I don't have to charge you more because you did what you needed to do. You know, like extra time to detangle, extra time to demad, and you know, getting them in on a proper schedule to where. And I was talking to another groomer about it too. It's like we are literally undoing the last 5 to 6 weeks in 2 hours. So it's a lot that goes into it. But if you just take the time to do it while you're at home, I don't have to charge you for that extra time it took me to do it because you didn't do it, right? So it's like, hey, hopefully instead of thinking about it as, oh, they're going to figure out they don't need me, but it's like, hey, it's something that we work together on as a team, because this is a team effort here. Like, this is not just me doing the work that you could have been helping me on doing for the past few weeks, right? So, yeah, I just think about it as a team. I hope people don't say, oh, well, since I brushed and combed my dog out, now I can do the haircut. And now they go on TikTok and buy like the kits and stuff. And now the dog has patches everywhere. And now I have to fix it.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, you needed me. I didn't tell you to go to step C, D, E, F. I said stay on A and B, and we'll be good to go.
Do not pass go, right? Do not go.
Do not
stay.
Pass this line right here. Don't pass this, okay? You can do everything over here, but do not pass. This is me.
No.
This is my area over here.
Well, I think that just means that, like, you're really you know what your service is, and if you can be more efficient in that service and get a better end product by teaching them the prep work before they get in front of you. I know with like dog walkers, they'll be like, well, I don't want to teach my clients how to do leash manners or how to do these sits, this stuff or that, because then they don't need me. I'm going to work myself out of a job. But what we're actually doing is, how many other times am I walking a dog going, oh my gosh, the owner obviously doesn't walk them. And if the owner would just walk them, then I would be able to do a better job where I am right now, instead of dislocating a shoulder or something like that. So it's when we can equip the tools to the client, we go, well, what I'm actually providing is the convenience and the professionalism when they can't and when they need extra help. Like, oh, okay, now I'm actually the service here, not the actual technical skills. And that's really where like a sweet spot is, because now, like you said, Wayne, like we've got that partner, and my goodness, how we also desperately want to have clients who are partners with us in the care of their pet.
For sure. And instead of instead of looking at it as there's just that simple exchange of money for service, but it's like money for experience and education and service and a team and, just a relationship, because you're investing into the care of your pet. So that's why I like teaching pet professionals to say, like, go out and learn as much as you can, because it's not so much as, oh, I'm learning and then I teach and then I lose my clients. But no, like, they already look to you as an expert and they want to be taught how to do this. Like, I think of myself still as, even though I groom dogs, majority of the time I'm grooming dogs, but I'm still teaching them and I'm training pets on how to stand on a table properly, be able to get their nails clipped and manipulate their faces and things like that, getting them desensitized and teaching them social skills. And even though, yes, I'm grooming them, but I'm also teaching them too. So it's like when pet professionals understand, you're also a trainer and you're a teacher at the same time. You have to accept that role so that people will want to come back to you, because you treat them like a number, you treat them insignificant, then they're going to feel that way, right? And they're going to go find somewhere else where there is a connection. So in order for you as the service provider to really build your clientele and build people that trust your word and, look to you as an expert and want to build loyalty with your business, you not only have to educate yourself, but you have to be understanding enough to say, hey, I'm going to educate my pet parents too. So then that way we're all on the same page. Because even with something as simple as leash training, look, if you leash train, you're paying me to walk your dog during the inconvenient times that you can't walk your dog.
Yeah. Right.
So during the other times that you have to walk your dog, I want to make sure that you have it as easy as possible, because when it's my time to walk, then I don't want to have to worry about a dislocated wrist or shoulder or joint issues, things like that. Or when a squirrel runs by, your dog is going to take off, and now we're both dragging down the street right after this squirrel or this cat. So it's like, I need you as my teammate as opposed to just the client. Yeah. And it's my job to learn and teach you how to do that.
Well, and it cuts so many things off, like, before they can become an issue. I know, like, in our local Facebook groups, I see a lot from, like, the grooming world. I see a lot of pet owners go, I just took my, Sophie to XYZ groomer and she came back shaking and I don't know what happened. and I need a new groomer. And I'm going, well, I have from my perspective, I got a lot of questions. Like, did the groomer explain to you what was going on? Was this your first time there at the groomer? What was the history of this pet? Yeah. And that's where a lot of that education can come up of hey, this is your first time here. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we've seen happen. Like a lot of those behavior issues, or even from pet sitting, I know that we do going, hey, we haven't seen your dog in a year and a half. Before I even get through the door, here's 5 things you need to know, and here's what a successful visit's going to look like, so that on the back end, there's no questions. Like the client has been prepared and knows what to expect, and we've set those proper expectations too.
And that's important. That's very much important, because you want to make sure that they understand, one, you've taken the time to learn all that you can. And again, you're the expert in it. But then 2, the pets are getting the care that they need, because if nobody is teaching them how to walk properly or socialize properly or, build up their confidence and things like that, then it doesn't make for a good environment or experience. Because again, like you said, if I go to the group and I say, this happened at the groomer, 10 times out of 10, the groomer did not take the time to explain anything to them. Yeah. Okay, although Fluffy is shaking this time because Fluffy was around a few pets or we had to shave Fluffy down, or Fluffy was in a crate or something the whole time or something, whatever, right? Now we're explaining, okay, these are some of the things that we can try next time. Yeah. And even just saying that, here's some things that we can try next time, that already gets the person in the mindset of they're coming back here, right? Yeah. So then now here's something that we can try next time. And then you go into how education goes into socialization skills, or desensitizing them to the dryer or loud noises or the clippers or anything, or nail trims, whatever the case was. So there is a lot of factors that go into it. But if nobody's taking the time to explain things to you, now you're just left with the experience of what your dog looks like or feels like, or how their mannerisms are after the groom, or the experience. So you, as a pet professional, you have to make sure that you're having those conversations with people to where it's look, although we may not have had a 100% positive experience, here's some things that you can do at home to better prepare them next time. Because more than likely, it was their first time there. Sometimes you do get those older dogs that are just shaking when they get on the table, but as soon as they get down, they're running around like nothing ever happened. You get those younger dogs too, because this is not something that's they're used to. So you have to get them used to it and make it a positive experience for everybody.
Well, Wayne, I realize I should probably take a moment here to introduce our listeners to who you are.
We did just get into it. We just started talking. Yes.
Just jump into this. So, Wayne, I'm really excited to talk to you today. It's been, a couple years now. And so I'll have links to episodes 375 and 224 in the show notes, so listeners can go back to listen. So stop listening to this, go back and listen to both of those, and then come back here. But for those who aren't familiar with you, Wayne, please tell us a little bit more about kind of what you do and all that you're involved in.
Gotcha. So again, one, thank you again, Colin. I truly appreciate it. And just being back. Yes, go back and listen to the other episode. But my name is Wayne. I own Happy Hearts Pet Care Services in Atlanta, Georgia. We offer grooming services, daycare, boarding, and training. We do have some retail products that we recommend to pet parents as well. I also have a nonprofit, PETLANTA, which brings pet professionals together, and we provide different educational resources. We put on events for networking, fundraisers, and just to be able to bring the community in the pet industry together. We try to localize, just bringing pet professionals together so that we can build up our community. The PetX Network is our media part of it, to where we have the podcast, we have a segment I call the Pet Pro Power Hour, and then we also have our network in which those resources that we're building through PETLANTA is often shared within the network. So then that way, pet professionals have resources and we're able to really just build up our community. They're both really big on community so that we can just change the narrative, and then also provide pet parents with that confidence and that education and that, the social skills so that we can try to make our businesses better. Our slogan is making better pet businesses together. So it's really pet professionals coming together and working together so that those questions are answered and those resources are found and everybody is moving in the right direction with their businesses. So those are the big three.
Have you heard of Time to Pet? Chris Ann from Raining Cats and Dogs has this to say.
Becoming a Time to Pet client has been a game changer for us. We can give our pet services clients real-time, cloud-based information they never imagined they'd be interested in. And most importantly, to me personally, I can better manage my company and look forward to more. And not a small thing, Time to Pet is responsive to my requests for new features and modifications to existing ones.
If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show will save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional. You're busy, Wayne. That's
it is. It is. And it keeps me busy. I have a few other ventures that I'm working on too, and it's just a blessing. It is truly a blessing because you see the need for bringing those like-minded, especially they may be new in the industry or older in the industry, but they don't tend to reach out or talk or be vulnerable or share their story and, ask questions or find help and things like that. And we're just like, no, it's okay for you to say, I don't have it all. But our purpose is to really find the answers for you or at least give you a different point of view. So then that way it's like, it's easier. Like you don't feel like I'm going through all of this alone, but there are thousands of other pet professionals that have gone through the same thing. And it's just a matter of opening your mouth and just saying, I need help.
Yeah. And not, it's finding that, that space where you feel vulnerable enough, where you can be vulnerable enough, right, to do that. Because Absolutely. I'll tell you, social media and online is a terrible place to be vulnerable a lot of times. It's like this double-edged sword of like, man, it's so easy. Let me just post a question into Facebook, and then you check back and 15 people have piled on, and you're like, well, I feel dumb now for asking that question. Never mind. I'll just learn my lesson. I'll never do that again. So having some place to go where you can go, like, these are trusted people, and especially finding people who are rooting for you. When you find that group where you walk into a room and everybody in there is like, we want you to succeed, that totally changes the kind of questions you ask, the kind of things that you do, and the really potential that you have.
Yeah. And that's why I love what we're doing and what we're building because of that, right? Like you said, you post something on Facebook and you're asking a simple yes or no question. And that yes or no question then turns into everybody giving their opinions and just, like you said, piling on. So where it makes you feel reserved now, like, why did I even ask that? And then now you're looking at yourself like, I don't even want to say anything else to anybody, because it's like they basically just shot down everything that I wanted constructive criticism on, right? And so now it's like we get to totally change the mindset of that, right? And vulnerability is a good thing, especially around those who have walked through the steps that you're taking. And they've been there and they've grown through it and they've learned so much from it. And it's important. So with what we do is we'll meet weekly on Wednesdays, every Wednesday at 8. And we'll start off with, hey, does anybody have anything that we want to celebrate? Any wins that they want to share? How can we encourage you? Things like that, because you need to understand, we don't tend to celebrate ourselves, right? We're just like, okay, cool. We made it another year. We made it through this month. Let's keep going. What's next month? Let's figure this out. You're still looking at the future when you need to slow down and just say, hey, I have come. Just hearing you said episode 300 and
75 was the last one that you were on. Yeah.
So, and where are we at now?
Oh, this will be about 650, right around
exactly. There. Like, do you ever sit and just say, wow, we really have gone 600 episodes in?
Yeah.
Like that is amazing, right? Being able to say that, just small things, but we're constantly like, okay, what's next? Who's next? How do we formulate this? What do we need to do? But we have to make sure that we are celebrating ourselves too. So that's what we do, and then we'll tie it into different themes and talks that we'll go through or post a question or something like that for the community to answer. So like this month, we're talking about strategy. Last month we talked about brand. So this month we're talking about strategy and how to promote that and how to go big on, just building a strategy that works. So yeah, it's really just us being able to utilize our platforms and what we've learned to inspire others on how to grow their businesses and do better.
How do you balance that? What you're talking about here is my daily responsibilities. I've got stuff to do. I'm very busy, but I also have these long-term things that I'm working on, and I've got these things to celebrate. How do we make sure we stay and balance that well as we go, from day to day?
You don't.
Okay, done. Wayne. Thanks for coming on.
I mean, you try your best. A lot. Entrepreneurship is figuring it out as you go. So you can have certain things thought out, strategized properly, written down, the timeline, the calendar, everything looks great. But when you try to balance it all, you tend to get a little overwhelmed in a sense. And that in itself can be a little stressful. And I say it's manageable stress because we asked for this. We didn't ask for a less than successful business. We didn't ask for a business that doesn't make money or makes connections or does what it needs to do. We wanted a successful business, and this is what comes with a successful business is really trying to balance, your personal life with your professional life while still growing both simultaneously and not trying to pull your hair out and be stressed out all the time, But when you have habits, positive habits, you read, you do something for yourself, you set a hard boundary that you don't do any work on Sundays, or, you spend time with family and like, this is just family only time type of thing. That helps you create that balance. So I think you have to be intentional with, how your time management, and things like that. It's just a matter of sitting down and just thinking about it and just making it like, this is what I'm sticking to type thing. Yeah. And in that way, you have time for business, but you also have time for life too.
Megan is really good at reminding me to be thankful when the bookings come in, especially because I can get to the point where I'm working on so many other things, and then a booking request comes in, and my first reaction is, now I've got to stop what I'm doing. I got to go approve this visit. I got to schedule it. I got to check the notes. Like, I've got to. And Megan's really good at always saying like this, like, we're thankful for this. So getting for me, it's this practice of whenever that booking request comes in, I say a brief thank you. I say, okay, thank you for this. Because this is my business. Like you said, I asked to be successful. Wouldn't you know? People want to use us. Oh, woe is me. So it's like, no.
I built the platform. Now I got. Why are we booking with me? I built it. Like, no.
Exactly. and just being grateful and thankful when that comes in and going, okay, they trust us. They like us. That's what I need to carry forward whenever I get that request come through. And just checking myself too of like, what was happening in that moment? Like, am I super burned out? Am I really like with my emotions and make sure that I'm regulating myself too, so that I don't carry that forward through everything that happens that day.
No, and that's absolutely important because you'll bring that energy into whatever you're doing. Like Like for example, all right, so like you said, when a booking comes in, you feel like, oh, here we go. Or, I have to do all of these steps to prepare for this booking, right? Same thing when we have a full day on the schedule. I'm like, yeah, having 4, 5, 6 dog days, cool. I can coast, like everything is cool. But then when you have those days where you have 10 and 11 dogs and you really have to put, you know, boots to the ground and just say, look, I need to put my big boy pants on and get this done, so because that already in itself looks stressful, and it looks overwhelming and it looks like it's going to be a long day and everything like that. And granted, again, this is how your lights stay on. This is how you build your business. This is how you build a successful brand that people want to come to. Why complain about what we've built? Because we need people to come through the door. Unless we're charging people $300 per groom and can only take on 3 grooms per day, then at that point, cool. But until we get there, we have to do what we have to do in order to make it work and make it successful. So, yeah. And I'm like, look, you have to get out of that. I have to, and be like, I get to. I get to do this. I get to wake up every morning to groom dogs. I get to wake up and build this business and build a brand and teach people and inspire others. I get to do all of that. And in that way, you have more of a gratitude for the work that you've done. And not to say that, not you, but like people don't. It's just in order for your work to always look like you're giving the best of it and you're showing up and doing your best, it's like, all right, I'm gonna give you those 2 seconds to be like, oh, here we go. But then right after that, let's get it. Let's get this working. Let's do it. But
Yeah.
I definitely look, trust me, I get it. I get it 100%, especially when I have a call out, or like one of my bathers calls out or one of my groomers call out. And then that's more work on me. And I'm just like, oh, here we go. I got to do it. But I'm never like, I guess, outward with it to where it's like, why can't they just show up to work? Or why I'm paying everybody? And why can't they? Like, no, look, just get in there, go bathe and dry these dogs and call it a day. Let's just get this day. Me complaining about it and spreading that then spreads the negativity through the environment. And I want all of us to work well together and be positive, right? Especially as their leader. So if they see me just get up and just go do it, then they're more inclined to just, all right, let me just get up and go do it. Or can I come in and help? Or, anything like that. But we're getting it done. And I'm rewarding at that point because I'm like, thank you. Thank you for your help. Thank you for assisting me. Now, who wants what for lunch? And I'm like, all right. You didn't have to help me, but you helped me, and I'm appreciative of it.
Yeah. Well, that's like you hear a lot about, like, the life of an entrepreneur, the life of a small business owner. It's the hustle, it's the grind, it's the this daily stuff. How do you view that as far as like that term, the grind, the hustle? Like, is that a positive or a negative thing to you?
It's positive.
Yeah.
It's positive because I take it as a positive thing because I'm still hustling, and the grind is every day. It's like if I go through the list of all of the ventures and ideas and my to-do list and everything like that's a hustle. That's the grind right there, right? Because eventually, like right now, we're still in that stage of hustle because we're not booked out every day. My bills aren't paid early for 6 months. We're still trying to figure out budgeting. I have to hire people. I got to figure out schedules. There's so many different things that are going on, so many different factors to where it's like, we're still hustling. Like we're still making sure that we have the lights on, we have the right supplies, we have enough money for taxes, enough money for, the employees, retail products, the light, it's clean in here, like everything like that. So there's so many different factors that aren't automated, to being taken care of to where it's like, we're still making sure that each day I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna give my best and do my best because one day it's all gonna pay off, right? So now it's a matter of understanding that and asking yourself, how do we get out of that? What are the next steps, to make sure like, hey, some of these things can get taken off of my plate, because I don't want to hustle, but I like the work ethic is there. The mentality is there. The work ethic is there, but stepping out of the hustle part, because when you think of hustle, you do think like, I don't have any time for anything else. I just have time for this. So like some people can take it negatively, but I take it positively, because that means that I'm putting the work in to get what I'm asking for and everything where I want things to go, right? But when you get to a point where you can delegate more and you can give more tasks to other people and everything is automated, then at that point you're stepping out of the hustle mentality and you're really scaling your business or whatever, your next step is. Yeah. But right now it's like, all right, I have to do what I have to do to figure out what's not working, because there are things that are not working that I need to make sure are taken care of before I start focusing on other or bigger or more things.
Keeping hustle to a short sprint, right? I think is what is really what you're talking about there, Wayne, of going, okay, yeah, we're going to go through periods of hustle. It could be fast growth. It could be, maybe staff turnover. It could be whatever it is, a new initiative, new service, new whatever ideas we got going on. There's going to be that period of hustle, but it's for a purpose. It's for something greater, to push forward, to move forward, to meet the next goal. And then we reassess, right? And then we do have that scale and that operations, and we have things that are moving. And then we go through another hustle. I think that trap that often we fall in is, well, I just got to, if I stop hustling, then things all fall apart. And I think that's more of a sign of we don't have those scaled systems in place that,
for sure,
if I'm not exuding, and I think of that a lot. If I'm not exuding 300% effort every day, everything's going to collapse. Well, I got to be smarter about what I'm doing in my business and really ask some serious questions about the foundations that I built it on.
100%. So I feel like at some point we have to get out of just surviving, and really get to scaling.
Yeah.
So, and then, like you said, there are different levels of hustle, like your hustle as a new business owner is going to be different as your hustle 10 years in, so you're still going to hustle in some sense of the word. It's just depending on how much work you're putting in at that point in time. And going back to creating that balance, in the beginning, there really isn't going to be balance, because you're trying to do everything that you can to get this brand and business off the ground, but over time, you start to pay for that time. You start to be able to afford that time. You start to be able to, afford being able to delegate that work so it's off your plate so that you can have more time, right? So eventually there's going to be balance, but right now it's like a matter of this particular hustle is new business ownership hustle, right? Where you're saying yes to everybody, you're building up your clientele, you're figuring out what works, what doesn't work, the type of clientele that you have versus the clientele that you need, the type of business relationships that you have versus the type of business relationships that you need. So you're still figuring a lot of the things out when it comes down to the new hustle. But I feel like, we're always going to hustle. It's like, all right, am I hustling to scale? Am I hustling to grow? Am I hustling to maintain? Am I hustling to, just make it till tomorrow? Like, what am I doing? But it really just depends on how you use the word and how you see it, because it can be a good thing, because I feel like it also depicts your work ethic and how hard you're working, for your business. Because I could say I want to be a millionaire, but if I'm not willing to put in any work to get there and build myself up, I don't expect it to happen,
As pet sitters and dog walkers, we're there for the joyful moments and the heartbreaking ones too. When a client loses a pet, finding the right gift can be hard. That's where Pet Perennials comes in. They make it easy to send thoughtful sympathy and milestone gifts with handwritten cards, gift wrap, and shipping included in the US and Canada. You choose the gift, they handle the rest. Sign up for a free gift business account and get discounted pricing with no fees or minimums. Learn more at petperennials.com. Through those periods of the hustle and the grind, how do you protect your passion for the business whenever you're focused on getting products in, shipping dates, scheduling, dealing with call outs, dealing with all this stuff? Like, that's really nitty gritty stuff. What happens to your passion during that time, Wayne?
I feel like it fuels it in a sense, because the passion part of it is the passion part is the field that you see, like you see the rainbows and the unicorns, and you see the end goal and how beautiful things are and how amazing life could be and all of that stuff, right? That's the passion. That's what you want. That's the goal, like, but in a sense, like, reality tends to take over, and then it's like, oh, okay, I have a $450 light bill, or I have a $200 internet bill, or I have this water bill. I have to get this, and I have to get shampoo, I have to get conditioner, I have to get maintenance things, I have to pay payroll. There are so many different things that happen in the reality that makes people feel overwhelmed and things, like, when it comes down to business ownership. So, like, in a sense, like, when you feel like you're overwhelmed, your passion tends to take a dip, because it's like, I'm working so hard and I'm doing so many things. But for me, I'm like, I already, that's why your why comes into place. And, like, why are you working as hard as you are to get there? But then you also have to make sure that even though your passion in it never really changes, it really just gets overshadowed by a lot of reality. Because I love working with animals. My passion is to work with animals and teach pet parents and teach pet professionals and things like that and connect. However, the reality of it is sometimes they're not receptive to the information, or you have to work harder to teach professionals that there's value in connection and network. You have to get those people, and you'll get those no's and stuff. And everybody talks about the no's that you get in entrepreneurship. But when you get those yeses, you start to feel, empowered by it. And it's just a matter of understanding that, yeah, it might be overshadowed, but I'm still going to do everything that I can today to make it, So it's, it's like one of those things where I may not always be, the quote is like, I may not always be like motivated, but that's where discipline comes into play. And you got to be disciplined to just keep pushing forward and just keep going and just making sure, like, hey, today wasn't an amazing day, or it was a not so great day, but tomorrow could be better. And it's just a matter of wanting to see what tomorrow looks like and putting that work in today.
Yeah. So, that being that eternal optimist is really kind of the role of what we are. And it's not necessarily looking at everything through the world with rose-colored glasses. But I think it's more like, well, tomorrow's another opportunity, or next phone call is another opportunity. Let's see what happens. Yeah. And I think that's really a difference there of, we're not blind to a lot of the realities or the reality of what's going on, but we're always optimistic about what's around the next corner that kind of keeps us moving forward. And that's where that discipline comes in of like, well, I've got to walk up to the door and knock and talk to that person. I've got to make that phone call, even though the previous 5 said no. Like, that's really where you find out, is my why motivating me enough or not?
Yeah, no, 100%. And you have to set, like, those negative thoughts and those negative voices. You have to say, you know what, I'm a go somewhere else. Go somewhere else with that, and figure out what works to bring more of a positive light in your life too. So that's why I like having different habits, or hobbies, or something that allows you to step out of work, essentially, so that you really find what centers you and what helps you and what puts a smile on your face. So then that way it recharges you when you have to go back in and lock in and be like, all right, I could give some more of myself to this, rather than like harping all over, just the bad experiences and everything that happened in the past. Like, tomorrow is going to be better. Next week is going to be better. Next month is going to be better. And set it to a goal, so that now, if my goal was, for example, if the goal is, all right, this month I'm going to make $10,000, you have to have that goal already set. And then now you're like, all right, what do I need to do in order to make that? And I feel like that's a guiding light, which helps, a lot of people, because if you don't have a goal in something, then you get lost in the reality of it. But if you have a goal, then it's like, okay, now I can do everything and take all of the steps that I need to take in order to reach that goal. And it keeps you accountable, because you're just like, well, if I'm not making $10,000 a month daily actions, then I'm not going to get there. And the only person that can really keep me accountable is me, because I set those goals for myself. So your action have to set, the goal. Your actions have to reflect the goals that you have set for yourself as well.
I love how you mentioned the habits of what we build around ourselves to make sure that we're recharged and taking care of it. And as you mentioned it, I realized that totally unintentionally, I've done that, where if I'm going out doing networking and I'm meeting new business owners and I'm knocking on doors, going to talk to boutiques and groomers and vets and all that stuff, I found myself previously where when I got the no, or no, we don't have a community board, no, I won't take your flyers, no, that's okay, we're working with somebody else, that in between the drives, I just sit there in silence and sulk.
Yeah.
By the end, like the sixth one, I was just like I was a horrible person to be around. And so now I have a playlist. It's eclectic. It's like 90s country hits and early 2000s like punk rock, and that's what I listen to basically on max volume as I'm driving in between everything. And that's my this is my therapy. We're gonna sing, but I'm singing at the top of my lungs in between visits,
and that's okay.
Keeping the energy up in between. Yeah.
You have to, because it's all an energy exchange too. Like just working in this industry, I've definitely noticed that it is it is a energy exchange when it comes down to networking and trying to get people to see the value in what you're building and things like that, right? And they don't get it, so it makes you feel a type of way. But you have to just, it just wasn't for you. And honestly, I take it as a motivational point to being like, all right, well, now I have to show you that it's worth your time, rather than like, I tried to tell you, but now I have to show you that it's worth your time. I tried to get you to see the vision ahead of time, but now I got to show you, and that's what that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And you just keep pushing forward.
Well, and that's part of that, again, that entrepreneur of what we're doing you mentioned setting those goals of, okay, my first 10,000 a month, my first 20,000 a month, or maybe it's my first 1,000 a month if I'm just starting out and going, what we are doing is we're creating a new reality. What we are, right? I'm creating something that 13 seconds ago did not exist. And I continue to push and make that happen where who knows? I believe it's possible, and that's what's pushing this forward. 6 months to now, we've only made $5,000 a month. Well, I have a goal, and I'm going to make a plan. And that's what you're talking about, Wayne. Of like, does everything align into this towards that goal, so that I can basically manifest this thing that had previously never existed in the world before? And that's a superpower, right? When you think about it, like that's a lot to get done.
And I think that's what overwhelms a lot of business owners too, is the planning part. Yeah. We're essentially, we are executioners. Like we make it work. We know how to make money. We know how to, come up with the goal of making money. We know how to come up with a plan and ways to do it. And at some point we do it, but all of the operational strategies and the the back end stuff, the back of the room, back of the story, type of thing that people don't see, all of the small steps, that people don't see. That's what overwhelms a lot of pet professionals, or entrepreneurs in a sense anyway. But we have to learn how to compartmentalize all of those tasks and things and hats and put everything in a place that it just makes sense. So then that way it's not overwhelming, when we're trying to figure out, because Let me tell you, especially owning a brick and mortar, you think that the light bill and rent is all you're going to be paying for, but it's not. And and you have to definitely budget for so many different things when it comes down to it. So it's like you can't look at things for the surface or just the surface area of it. You have to really dig deep and figure out how to compartmentalize and put strategies into place and how to, plan your days to correctly, time management, money management, and that's where you get like mentors and you get, you network with others, because if it's not your strong suit, just find somebody who enjoys doing it.
Yeah.
And then now you're building a team around yourself with people that can help guide you in the right direction. Like, we know how to groom dogs, So if you know how to groom dogs, you may not know how to budget. You may not know how to run a business. You may not know how to communicate. You may not know how to market yourself and brand yourself correctly. You may not know how to do these things. If you're not actively learning how to do it, just find somebody whose strong suit is in it. And then now figure out, how can you afford this extra care, and you can delegate these tasks so that your branding, your business, your company, your team grows, and don't be afraid to do that you can learn all that you can learn, but you have somebody who does this all the time. It's easier. It's way easier on you.
I can definitely bang my head against a brick wall for years and to learn that a jackhammer would be better. But what I need to do is go talk to somebody who demolishes brick walls, right? That's
Yes. Yes. Who knows what to look for, who knows what the proper tools to use, everything.
Yeah. Wayne, you're coming up on almost 10 years in business now, right?
9, yes, almost 9, yes. So it'll be our 9th year starts September 16th.
Cool. Wow. That's almost a decade. I'm going to go say you're almost a decade. It's like my daughter. She's almost 10, and she walks around. She's like, I'm a decade old. I'm like, stop saying that. I don't like the way that sounds. But you're approaching this. Looking back, what's something that you wish you would have known earlier?
Let me see. It's important. It's definitely important to find people who are doing the things that you want to do. When I first started doing mobile grooming, the goal was to have multiple vans, all over the city. So I should have, networked with people or businesses that have multiple vans. Like, how do you handle this? What do you do? Answer some of these questions, things like that. So I will say, like, in the beginning, just network with people on the level that, if they're doing something that you can see yourself doing, network with them, ask questions, get on their nerves, things like that, because you have to learn how to do the thing instead of trying to figure it out yourself. Make sure you have the proper team around you. So somebody who handles strategy, somebody who handles finances, somebody who handles media, somebody who handles, communications, things like that. And, just ask questions until you can afford people and add people onto your team, and things like that. But education, networking, is always going to be, and personal development is always going to be the most important things as you go through this journey.
It really is invaluable who you seek after and who you model after and the influences that you have. And even in subtle ways, like you mentioned, it's not just like business operations. Like that's a word I never thought I'd be talking a lot about in my life whenever I was younger. Like, I just do business operations a lot. That's fun. But also you mentioned the personal side. Like how am I changing? Where am I growing? What am I learning? Not just, directly applied to the business, but in my attitudes, how I handle things, how I work through scenarios. Like all of that is that slow growth over time where each layer you don't really notice. I think, at least for me, I noticed like, man, but all of a sudden you look back and you go, wow, I've grown so much. And
it teaches you a lot. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. It teaches you a lot because you figure out what works and what doesn't work daily, right? And it teaches you a whole lot, and you just have to be humble enough to sit there and listen, because you have to be a student to the game from day one. And everybody, you can't be a teacher all the time. You have to be a student. You have to learn. You have to understand, like, some of these obstacles and things like that. They're there to teach you instead of break you down. And it's rough. It's tough. It's rough conversations you have to have with yourself. But, it's one of those things where, again, you wanted to be an entrepreneur or you wanted to be a business owner. You're going to have to go through these things in order to be the best version of yourself. So, make sure that you're reading, you touch grass, you take time for yourself, you sit in the sun, go swimming, do something that makes you happy, listen to podcasts, travel, whatever you can do to help increase your better self, do it. Because you have to show up for your business.
Wayne, I love that. I'm so thankful for you coming back on the show and sharing that with us. And it's so cool to see all that you've got going on. And again, congratulations on coming up on 9 years and all the hard work and growth that you've had and the influence that you're having as well. So for those who want to get connected, follow along, check out PETLANTA and everything that you've got going on, how best can they do that?
Of course. So, for Happy Hearts on Instagram, Facebook, it is Happy Hearts Pet Care ATL. TikTok, it is Happy Hearts ATL. For PETLANTA and the PetX Network, simply just go to thepetxnetwork.com and it'll have all of the links and everything on there as well. And you could always follow either of those pages on Instagram at petlanta.inc and the PetX Network. So you'll see the nonprofit page, petlanta.inc, and our network page, the PetX Network, from there.
Awesome. Well, I will have links to all that in the show notes so people can get connected, start learning and growing and finding the people that can help motivate them to the next level and do what they need to do. Wayne, again, this is such a pleasure. I'm so thankful for you and your time. It's been wonderful getting caught up. Thank you. Thank you, Wayne.
Oh, no problem, Colin. I truly appreciate it, and I look forward to being in another episode 300 episodes later.
My biggest takeaway from my conversation with Wayne was when he said, I've got to get out of the I have to mindset and get into the I get to mindset. This shift really changes everything. Instead of dreading the tasks or feeling buried under responsibilities, this reminds us to view our work as an opportunity. We get to grow the business. We get to care for pets. We get to make a difference. When we lead with gratitude and purpose, we show up better for our clients, our teams, and importantly, and most importantly, really, ourselves. We really cannot forget that we've built this on purpose. We should enjoy the privilege of doing the work. We want to thank our sponsors, Time to Pet and Pet Perennials, for making this show possible. And we really want to thank you for listening. Thank you so much for being here. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.